Welcome to Don't Call Me Catty, the podcast where we don't sugarcoat the vet industry, but we do stir the pot.
I'm Jillian, one of your co-hosts. I'm a financial education specialist helping the veterinary community find wellness in your overall financial health.
And I'm Leilani, CEO and co-founder of Animal Health Link, a veterinary teletriage company taking your late night calls so you don't have to.
We are colleagues, co-creators, and truly bestie baddies who text each other memes and have late night conversations about everything that's wrong and everything that's right in the industry.
From real talk about burnout and boundaries to money moves and midnight emergencies, we're here for the messy, meaningful parts of vet med.
Whether you're new to practice or just trying to make it through your next shift, or even if you have nothing to do with vet med besides owning an animal, this podcast is for you. This is Don't Call Me Catty. No fluff, just fur, fun facts, and some good stories.
This episode was recorded live at a bustling trade show. The audio's a little rough around the edges, but the conversations are worth it.
All right. Jonathan.
Good. Shit. That happens so often, especially in the first, and then you're like, oh.
Jonathan, our first podcast guest.
Ladies, thank you very much for having me on here.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Look at how beautiful this is. This is amazing.
Goodness. Yeah, our little dream has come to fruition.
Our midnight tech session has come to real life.
It is now reality.
Yeah.
And you have me on the podcast to start with.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill. This is exciting. What are we doing here?
We can't even imagine a better first guest, though.
Yeah.
Like, we're friends.
Yep. We'll make it
We're
relaxed.
colleagues.
We've known each other for a long time. So Jonathan and I think we met way back when you were manager at one of the ER practices in Calgary. And you would come and locum sometimes at the practice I was at.
That's correct.
Funny
Way back
story,
in the day.
A bunch of the techs at the practice that I was at had a big crush on Jonathan. So when they would see him on the locum schedule, they'd be like, Dr. Leicht
So
today.
horrible. So horrible.
So excited.
Within a minute of the podcast starting. Nice move, Leilani.
Well, Leilani, I mean, Jonathan missed the boat in Halifax, remember?
I literally missed the boat. Literally did.
Wanted to be on
I wasn't cool enough yet.
Boat party.
I wasn't cool enough yet, though.
No.
You and I didn't know each other yet.
Didn't.
No, we were just afar in the conference center. No,
Jonathan's
not
like,
getting on.
Who is this person? And I'm like, who's Jonathan?
Yep.
And now we talk all the time.
That's it. 3 years later, look at us go.
Amazing.
So, well,
Amazing.
Yes.
So we know Jonathan well, but for the people who don't know you well, who are you?
Who am I?
How do you want to be known?
Well, I am that guy that is a veterinarian by trade. That's what I always say. I do not practice full time. I have 2 amazing kids, a lovely wife. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, and I do this thing called vet med. So what does that mean? I run and operate and lead a company called Mosaic Vet Partners and Mosaic Pet Care, and we have mixed animal practices and small animal practices in Alberta and Saskatchewan, Canada, and we're trying to grow an amazing team and teammates that want to be there, and we provide great patient care, whether it's the small animals, large animals, and hopefully do it in a way that's sustainable and we can be profitable and do all the things we want to do in vet med. And then when I'm not working, I am on the ice coaching. I am at baseball games right now. We try and travel the world when we can. I pretend to stay in shape, so we're going to do an adventure race in September, which you guys don't even know about. So me and 2 vet buddies are going on a 600K epic saga, which is way over our head in September, and just try and live life to the fullest.
Well, we're going to have you come back on after that saga, as you put it.
Yeah.
If we survive. Let's be real on it. Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Okay, so
yes.
you're CEO,
Your dad,
coach,
coach,
husband.
Absolutely. Yep.
You did Hard 75. You and Candace did Hard 75.
I did 95% of Hard 75. I forgot to take a picture one day, and that throws it out the door because it's 100% or nothing. So you'll have to explain, Hard 75. So I failed. My wife has done it twice now. She's good. She's great.
And then you're also lecturer. So you spent all day today lecturing at the CVMA convention, and then you so graciously came on our podcast.
And now I'm relaxed. I got a glass of red wine, and we're going to enjoy ourselves a little bit.
Our wine's coming. I mean,
You're going to have it in hand right away here. So
anyone that knows me knows there's red wine somewhere around the area.
it's there. And then Dr. Mike Bug and myself, we did a podcast for 2 years. We are retired from that world. So this is amazing to be a guest on your guys' podcast. This is a lot of fun. And what a show you've set up. You've already put us to shame. And this is amazing.
Thank you for all the advice you've given us so far.
Yeah, well, now we flip the tables on you, and we're going to ask you some pretty hard questions, we think. We're going to get a little bit dark, hopefully. And really, for me, I want to show, lift the curtain. Let's show the dark side to vet med, what you love, don't love, how Canadians can be better towards your community.
Perfect.
But I'm going to start with an easy one.
Okay.
I think it's easy.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I was at a conference, a financial advisor conference, and a dear friend of mine set this whole thing up, and there's 20 of us. Okay. And there was 5 new people into this group. So in order to get to know people, he said, I want everyone to write down 3 songs. What is your funeral song? What's the song that you win to? What's that song? Okay. And then what is your walk-in song?
My walking song?
Your walk-in song. So you walk into a room.
That's a good question. This is hard on a podcast. Then I would have already prepped it in the green room and known what my dance is going to be. So now that I'm getting asked to be dancing on the spot, I can easily say that my win song is 8 Mile by Eminem. That
can you
for
rip
sure.
It?
I can rip the first verse of it and definitely the chorus. Not the third. But what I love about that one, and again, we're going sideways already, is my son loves it now. Oh. So we have the same Spotify playlist ahead of every baseball game, hockey game, and that goes on. And that is the one that I got into vet school with. That is the one that I ripped this morning. I had it on, getting prepped up for the lectures. Yeah. I love it. That's my win song.
So you and your son share an amp up playlist.
Yes.
That's some father-son bonding.
Totally is.
It.
Yep. Yeah. Now my daughter, on the other hand, Pink Pony Club in action right there.
That's
There's
our
some
Rachel
other. Yeah, exactly. Rachel #1.
Yeah.
So she has some other ideas of what that could look like. My funeral song, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I think it would be something happy for sure. It would be something that speaks to hopefully a life well lived. Whatever that song would be, and I could care less whether it's new or 1960s, 1970s, something. I love piano, so it would have to have something piano in it. Yeah. So, I don't know, Elton John style, there's got to be something in there that I would love. Yep.
So you don't want it to be sad, you would want it to be more lively Elton John song. Okay,
yep.
Okay, so no Candle in the Wind.
No Candle in the Wind.
Okay.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
But good point.
If you go before me, I'll make sure
Excellent.
I rep the playlist.
Listen, I had someone today tell me, we had lunch today, and they said, when I die, so I asked them the same question. When I die, I want my spouse to put my ashes in a cake, but we're not going to tell anyone. They're just going to know that I'm still there. And I'm like,
we have gone dark.
We went dark.
Ooh.
We totally went dark. But so I think music is a really important thing. It's we all have music in common, right? We all know the 8 Mile song.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking on the music trend, since that's something we all have in common, and I think one thing that I've learned a lot about you, and I share with people who I want you to meet and them meet you, is who Jonathan is as a family man. And there's a story when we were at the Quebec conference a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, that I think is so important for people to know about you. So can you share a little bit about what happened to Quebec with your family?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think what you're referring to is in Quebec City, at that time that we were there was the CVMA convention, but then there was also on the Plains of Abraham a big Quebec festival that they hold every year. And Imagine Dragons was playing that summer, and we didn't know about that because you get ready for CVMA, there's functions, there's a whole bunch of meetings, and my family came with me, so my wife and my 2 kids. And it wasn't until we got to the hotel and went, wait a second, they're going to be playing while we're there. And at that time, Imagine Dragons is my kids' favorite band. Over the top favorite band. It's on Spotify all the time. We actually got a little video on Spotify because we were in the 0.1%. So then they sent out a video saying, you're special, we love you, etc. We do a lot of work when we're on the road, in exhibits and conventions, etc. We had the opportunity to go down in the morning, grab bracelets, and by chance, there was still 4 bracelets left, and we were able to get them. We skipped one of our convention time frames. We took our kids at that time, they were 5 and 6 years old, super young, and we spent the time to get them over to the Plains of Abraham, and that turned into a family experience that we will literally remember for the rest of our lives. My kids are partying like they're at 1960s festival, not knowing exactly what they're doing at all. My other kids on the ground sleeping by the end of it. There's probably 100,000 people, without exaggeration, out there loving it. And we get to enjoy this while we're at a veterinary conference.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the joy. Now, does it always work that way? No. Can my wife come out to everything? No. Does she sometimes get sick of it when I have to disappear for 2 days, and then we have 2 days after, and she's going, Jonathan, we need to get home. Like, there's life again.
Yeah. How many practices do you guys have now?
11 with the 12th on the way. Super exciting.
12 way. Okay.
Yep.
So you do a ton of hiring.
Yep.
I'm curious, and maybe you can put this in dating terms even.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
I haven't dated in a long time.
That's okay.
Rusty.
That's okay. I'm sure we all get the stories from the friends.
Okay,
And that
absolutely.
Sort of thing. So, what are your red flags and green flags when you're hiring either for an RVT or a DVM?
Yep.
What do you
Great
look out
question.
for that goes, you know what? I don't want a second date or a second interview.
Yep. In our lectures this morning, I was speaking about this. 3 years ago, it was, you have a degree, you're from an accredited school, you can talk, you're hired. Literally. You've got a pulse.
You can fog a
we'll
mirror.
make it work.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can fog a mirror.
And in some cases, unfortunately, it can be still really hard to hire. The pendulum's changing. What are we, mid-June 2025? The pendulum's swinging where we have choice. And when I'm coming into an interview, now I get to look at that individual for the full self. For top grading, I'm looking at subjectively, how are they going to fit within the culture of our clinics? What are they going to be able to do to support our teams? That's not usually from a procedure standpoint. I have that expectation when they come in, they're going to be able to do a spay or neuter. Whether they can do a large spay or neuter, it doesn't matter. We can grow them into that.
Yeah.
But are they going to be able to support what we look at from a core value standpoint? Are they going to be on board with our mission? We can ask questions, and I love doing what's called walk and talks. I didn't coin the phrase at all, but I want to take them for coffee. And then I want to get into conversations about what they've had for issues, for struggles in the past. How have they dealt with it? Have they taken accountability for when maybe things haven't gone right? First red flag, no, it was the manager's fault. Nah, the corporate I work for, they just couldn't give me the money that I was, tell me more.
Yeah.
I love that phrase, tell me more.
Yeah.
Whether it's an RVT, a leader, a DVM who's automatically a leader in the practice, tell me more about that situation. What worked?
Yeah.
What didn't work? That brings out really good green flags or red flags as to whether we can move forward with this. Yep.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the best pieces of advice that I got when I first went into management. Was I was talking to someone about, conducting interviews, and
Yes.
they had told me, let them talk, get them
Absolutely.
to start just,
Yes.
rambling on about
What's
what they're
important
all
to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Because they're like, you'll be surprised, both in good ways and bad ways,
Yes.
depending on the
Yep.
person, right? You'll
Yep.
be surprised at what people will say.
Absolutely.
And reveal. So
Well, that's sales 101,
Yep.
right? Like,
Yep.
I have a Post-it note,
Yeah.
because we all know that I love to talk, and it says 75% listening and 25% talking,
Nice.
right? Like,
Yeah.
talk less,
yeah.
because you'll learn so much more.
And hear and gravitate and active listen, and then see what comes from that, because you're
Yeah.
going to go down roads that you didn't even know, and then that can take you a different spot, and then you can recognize, okay, is this a person that's going to fit in with our team not only next month, 6 months, a year down the road? Is this somebody that wants growth and challenge in their career? If they're young, what are they interested in? To find that now in the interview process as opposed to later on.
Yeah.
Also, there's individuals that maybe they're looking for a career change, but they don't know what that looks like yet. RVTs and DVMs, and I see that a lot with RVTs. Maybe they want to take that next step in their career. Well, let's talk about that. Have you really thought about what that means to you? Getting off the floor, taking on leadership courses. Have you already jumped into some leadership courses to show proactively that you want to go that way? What is your experience around numbers? What does that look like when you actually have to hire and fire? Do you know how to do that? All those can come into an interview and a conversation, and then I want to see them in a working interview too if we can. Let's get them on the ground with the team members. Let's see what the team members have to say about their attitude, talking when they're not in front of the boss. All those take part in green flags, red flags.
And do you find that they'll act differently when the interviewer's not there and they're just there with the team members?
Completely. And I trust my team members so much.
Yeah.
And so no matter our clinics, let's go ahead and have a discussion afterwards and see what the little snippets look like, because
Yeah.
they'll tell people that, they'll definitely tell teammates things that I won't be able to get.
Okay, so let's stick on this topic of hiring and the red flag, green flag. So you and I talk a lot about contracts. We talk about hires, potential hires for your practices. There was one conversation we had, and so I want to know, like, when you go to think about, do I want to hire this person or not? What's the ick? Where do you get the ick? Like, there's no coming back from this.
They look good on paper.
But then there's just, I mean, none of us are dating, but it's like, there's an ick factor you just can't.
I'm
come
leaving
back
early
from.
if I can.
You're like,
great
bye.
to meet you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Coffee
say I'm going to
shorts.
the bathroom and I'm going to sneak out.
Thank you, but no
Dating
thank you.
again.
We are not for you. What's that ick factor for you?
There's a couple that come right to mind and are very easy in this day and age. I think the first is entitlement. I have my DVM. You should just hire me. Like, the expectation when they walk in the room is that you should hire me because I am there. And I went, wow, that's interesting. Again, I want to unpack that a little bit. What gives you that feeling and that expectation coming into our business, our culture, that you're going to fit in? And they look at you and go, well, interesting. I've got my DVM, and they're not prepped.
Yeah.
And so that sense of entitlement and feeling that unfortunately has probably been propagated their whole life, that they've made it through vet school, they made it through undergrad, they've been the top of the top, and then all of a sudden, maybe they've never interviewed before, or maybe they've had a job and they didn't like it, so they left it. It's always been on their terms. So that I really find icky.
Well, I've got a question, though. Do you think that's partially our fault? Because just before this, we talked about how if you've got a pulse, you can fog a mirror.
Yeah, fog a mirror.
You've gone to an accredited school, we're going to hire you. So do you think that the incredible caseload that we saw over COVID and therefore shortage that we saw
has led to that?
Yeah.
That would be an easy answer.
Okay.
And here, we're going dark, so I'll go dark.
Yeah.
I want to pay these individuals extremely well.
Yeah, you do.
6 figures, minimum, in the case of DVMs. We're paying better and better on RBTs. We're not where we need to be yet, but we're getting better.
Yeah.
My expectation is they are professionals. And I say that. I'm saying that online right now. My expectation is they're coming in as professionals, and there should be a baseline to what professionals have as an entry level in. And if you're not there, or you think you just deserve it because that DVM behind your name, I got another thing coming.
Well, and I think that goes back to, like you talked about, the culture that you're bringing into Mosaic Pet Care and Mosaic
Vet Partners,
Vet Partners, right? And that culture doesn't come from just checking a box. So you have a DVM, like, check, you're hired. That's not the industry anymore.
Our teams are amazing. They
Your
work
teams
their
are
asses
incredible.
off.
Yeah.
I'm just overjoyed when I see them, and I wish I could share that more and more. They work their butts off.
Yeah.
And to have somebody that comes in and just has that expectation of, oh, I should be here because I'm my DVM, well, that knocks us all down that are working 24/7 to do well for our patients and clients. So that to me is complete ick.
Yeah, it's a vibe. Well, and I think a lot of times, like, you and I, like, I've been on both sides of your contract, right? And I work with a bunch of students to help them negotiate that. And what I've started telling them is, you guys need to start journaling your career.
Yes.
Like, you start in your undergrad. If you've volunteered your time, if you work in vet practices, you do cool things, document all of that, because that will make the difference of getting that 6-figure up salary and working at a clinic that focuses on culture and you're a special team member now versus, oh, I'm a DVM, check.
You should hire me.
And I think in any relationship, whether professional or personal, there has to be some reciprocity, right?
Sure does.
Yeah.
Where it's not just,
What are you doing for me?
Yeah.
What are you doing for me?
Yeah.
So in a contract, which is a business relationship of responsibilities of saying, I am signing up to do this, and for that I will be compensated and benefits and have work, career, etc. The next conversation we get into from an ick factor, of which is one that, again, we're still evolving, is mentorship. What does mentorship then entail for that individual? Where are we doing? Where are we able to help and where are we not? We don't do a great job of this yet. We're learning it and we're evolving with it. But an individual that thinks that everything is on the practice and nothing on them, that to me is another ick factor.
Yeah.
What are they being accountable to when shit hits the fan? Because shit will hit the fan, unfortunately, excuse the language, but it does. And then it's, what are we doing together? We might not be the place for them.
Yeah.
That's a great segue into that question.
Yeah. Actually, so on that topic of accountability,
Yes.
And this is going to get a little bit dark too here, but I want to hear about a case or a situation that didn't go so well that still lives with you. And yeah, let's unpack that. To quote Jonathan Leicht, tell me more.
Tell me
Tell
more.
me more. Isn't there a song?
Ooh.
The Grease song?
Tell me
Tell me
more.
more, tell me more.
I'm ignoring you both. I love it though. That's so comfortable. Stay in a dark place that way.
Yeah,
We
I
had
mean,
an
like,
info-
What
we-
cases keep you up, like that you've thought about, even if it was 15 years
Oh,
ago?
lots
that you're
of cases
like,
do.
"Oh."
There are cases that I have mismanaged, unfortunately, and we've spoken about this on the podcast in
Yeah.
terms of, ones that have led to euthanasia that you look back at and go, wow, I made the wrong medical choices, or, communication could always be better. There is not a month that goes by that I don't double. Lack of doing medical notes, your lack of follow-up, your lack of literally giving a shit is not acceptable anymore. And I don't care how much you bring into the practice, these are attitude changes that need to occur in order for us to go forward together. And you would think that bringing on HR, having verbal discussions, having written reprimands, all those things that you have to do as an employer would make a difference, but in this individual's case, it didn't. And it came to the point where one day there was enough information, enough material to be able to make a change, to say, you are no longer welcome at this clinic. And that's hard, because I also have bosses ahead. I have a practice that has to remain viable, and you have to make a change and go, shoot, who are we going to replace this with? These are all things that happen in multiple practices going, damn, we've got a toxic person. They don't recognize it. We can't get through to them. There is no manner of change that's going to make this better. Then you get to the point where you're like, all right, we're going to let them go. And that individual was clueless. And
by
that's-
that you mean they were
they-
totally blindsided?
Totally blindsided. Even though we've walked through multiple meetings together, there is paperwork, there is conversation, etc. And the individual at that meeting still did not expect what was coming, which was we let them go. We fired them.
Yeah.
And that was hard. That still sticks with me to this day of going, what did I miss
Yeah.
to not make it through to this individual to say, your job is on the line? And now what I do is say, when we're talking with our clinic managers and Juliet, our people in
Oh,
Brent-
she's amazing.
she's amazing.
Oh, she's the best. Yeah.
Up to including termination is involved in this conversation, and we are very clear, one-liner, it's easy, it's transparent, and it's so right and respectful for those individuals to know that, hey, your job's on the line. If we don't see certain changes, whatever they are, this is going to be the end of your career with our group. And
Well, I
that's
think
all right.
in vet med too, well, any industry really, like
Yep.
if you have a high performer, I mean, you're dealing with typically an A-type personality.
Absolutely.
They are
Yes.
ego-driven.
Yes.
And they're like,
Go-getters. They're
Yeah.
great with their clients.
totally.
They-
They're doing
they're-
all the right things.
Yes.
But
Yep.
it messes with the environment and
It
that
sure does.
culture
Yes.
that you try so hard.
Yeah.
And Mosaic especially, like, that culture is so special.
Step by step
One
by step.
person can ruin that.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I've got a follow-up question then. What did firing that individual do for the culture of that practice?
Within 24 hours, I had multiple doctors that came up and said thank you.
Oh,
Within the week,
wow.
we had our team morale go up.
Yeah.
Within 3 months, we had that position hired, and we never saw a dip in revenue.
That's the hire
Over
slowly,
and
fire quickly.
over and over again. When we wait too long, and I share this with my directors, and I learn it, is the longer we wait in these situations, the harder it gets. And then you look at it retrospectively 6 months later and go, why didn't we do it sooner?
Yeah. And you never saw a dip in revenue.
Never saw a dip in revenue, which was the amazing thing, because people were willing to pick up the difference,
Yeah.
and they were doing well as well.
Yeah.
So, yes, something that I also remember and continue on as you go in through your career.
Yeah.
Well, and part of it is, I think, people understanding just as humans that those conversations of being terminated or choosing to leave an employer is opening you up to a new opportunity. And I think people need to
recognize
recognize
that.
that.
Yep.
Of thank you
Yes.
for showing me that I was not the right fit here, because that person might be excelling where they should be.
Great to say on a podcast, hard to do in life.
No kidding. We're all business owners, so we get
Absolutely.
that. We
Yep,
get that.
and it is
yeah,
real.
totally. So on that, so part of this for me was to educate Canadians, right? I think it's so important that Canadians start to see their doctors and their tech teams as humans and not, I don't know, uttering death threats. Like, you know, I sell the insurance to this, and I don't want to get the call that someone has died from suicide, right?
Absolutely.
So we're having this conversation trying to show the dark side. What would you tell Canadians that you do? Like, what's important for them to know as a business owner, as a DVM, as a dad, you know, that they could know about vet med that's the truth, not this, oh, the media is saying this, it must be true. What is the truth behind vet med for you?
We're all just humans.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to make it through a day. We're all trying to provide for our families. We're all trying to grow in our careers, and we make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, sometimes we can't own up to them because it's too hard inside for a while, and we need to go through that ourselves before we can open up to others. And again, I think as veterinarians, as RVTs, as just veterinary professionals, we have such a profound manner in which to impact the family, and we take that on each and every day that we're in our vet practices. And I don't care if that's a dog, cat, a cow, that herd of alpacas, it doesn't matter. We are impacting people's livelihoods, and for the good or the bad, that affects us. So for people just to recognize that we're all humans.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
Thank you for having
Thanks
me
for being
on
our
your
first
podcast. This is
guest.
amazing. I'm
our
super excited and blessed and honored, and
First,
we
first
love
Don't
you.
Call Me Catty
definitely.
podcast in the books. We're so glad that you were able to make it, and thank you for being such a wonderful guest, giving
And
us
being a little
welcome.
vulnerable with us.
absolutely.
You guys have a bright future in front of you.
Okay, but we have to go back. One thing.
Uh-oh.
Do we know the celebration song yet?
We
Oh,
don't.
right.
I will leave that for another podcast
All right.
episode.
Where can folks get in contact with you or Mosaic?
Yes.
Where do you want them to go?
So we can be found on the main socials, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us on our websites, mosaicvet.com or mosaicpetcare.com. And literally at conferences and just around. And I love talking with people. So stop me in the hallway. That is the best piece. And if not, provide my email and I'll get back to you guys that way. I am not on TikTok. No TikToks for this guy.
Oh, I think we could get Jonathan to do a
No,
TikTok
no
dance
TikToks.
now. Shake your booty.
My son
Tell
already
me
knows the
more,
moonwalk. Both of them know the moonwalk
No.
so well. This
From
guy,
TikTok?
not so much. No,
Oh.
like I don't know where they learned it. They're just good.
By the end of this conference, Jillian and I will have.
We're going to have you on
Jonathan.
TikTok
I
for
can't do it.
sure.
There we go.
All
sure.
right. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jonathan.